Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today, I would like to interview subject DPL50174, Procurement in Logistics and Supply Chain, with title Procurement with Ethics and Social Responsibility. The interview was prepared to Puan Hazlin bin Jamali. Next, the first slide is my introduction. My name is Alia Farhana binti Edi Ruhairuddin. My matching number is 30DLS21F1001. I am a student from semester 5, season 1, 2023 or 2024 and from class DLS 5B. I have undergone the WBA program at Hasnuri Sedang Berhad. Next is the background of the company. Hasnuri Sedang Berhad is a company that manufactures ready stock clothing products for their beloved customer. Hasnuri has been operating for 4 years since 2014 and is based in Kota Tinggi, Johor. In 2018, Hasnuri moved to a large HQ in Pasir Gudang to facilitate their growing daily work process. Hasnuri company name is taken from the founder on names, which is the word Has is taken from Mr. Habba bin Awang, while the word Nuri is taken from his wife name, which is Puan Nuria binti Zakaria. Hasnuri also has several departments that work to further improve the name of his company. For everyone's knowledge, Hasnuri has also expanded his sheet production by opening several outlets in several states in Malaysia. Among them are Hasnuri branches in Malaysia such as in Kota Baru Kelantan, Kota Tinggi, Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur. The picture above is the Hasnuri Company HQ in Pasir Gudang. The first question of this interview is the ethical behavior in procurement process. They have 4 points to this ethical, which is transparency, conflict of interest, use of power, and corruption. The first point is transparency. Transparency is an open and transparent procurement process that increases competition, ensure value for money, improve efficiency, and reduce the threat of injustice or corruption. Transparency is considered one of the most effective ways to prevent corruption and a prerequisite for ensuring the accountability of officials. The second point is conflict of interest, which does not mean the employer has edged on the conflict, as it means the conflict exists, such as when a vendor may be owned by a relative of the employer who may make procurement decision. In a perceived conflict of interest, the employer who holds the position appears to be able to influence or be influenced. Next, use of power. Power can be used by various people in various ways. The basis of power, the demands for individual with power, and the possible outcomes associated in the form of persuasion for managers. This is because powerful people can make all decisions in the company, easily produce something extraordinary, and also need to raise the name of the company well. And the last is corruption. Corruption is a form of dishonesty or a criminal offences committed by a person or organization entrusted with a position of power to obtain illegal benefits or abuse power for one personal benefits. This is because the responsibility of each employer must be done honestly in managing the company finance to buy goods that have been used up in the company and not to use the company finances for personal gain. The next slide, I want to identify social responsibility and business goals in procurement. The first is social responsibility. Social responsibility in procurement often referred to as a responsible procurement or sustainable procurement involves ethical, social, and environmental consideration to the procurement process and supply chain management. The next point is business goals in procurement. In procurement, business goals are specific objectives that an organization wants to achieve when acquiring goods and services. This is because the company must make the right choice to buy goods with suppliers and use their service well in order to achieve the objectives in the company. Next slide, I want to explain about recognizing ethics in procurement process. First, ethics in procurement process is the practice of ethical behavior in the procurement process. Procurement ethics also includes principles such as honesty, integrity, and fairness in all aspects of procurement. Every employer must have work ethics and always be disciplined because this will have a bad effect on the environment in the company if there are some unethical employers. The second is improper procurement practice can lead to fraud or corruption that can damage the company reputation and affect its ability to compete in the market. As a result, the company names will also be affected and the company cannot develop successfully because it has employees who practice fraud and corruption in silence in the company. This may result in external companies not wanting to cooperate with us. Okay, the third is the Procurement Code of Ethics is designed to help companies adhere to the principles of honesty, integrity, and fairness when making procurement decisions. Every company must have this code of procurement ethics to help the company always practice a disciplined attitude and honesty in making the right decision. Next, I would like to describe about public relations in the procurement process. Public relations, which is PR, play an important role in the procurement process, especially in case where the organization procurement decision and practice have the potential to impact its reputation and a key stakeholder relationship and enhance public perception. Okay, now we see how PR can be involved in the procurement process, which is the first by supplier communication, crisis management, next stakeholder engagement, and finally supplier announcement. The first two, supplier communication, is to maintain positive relationships with suppliers through collaboration between procurement teams to develop effective communication strategies to engage with existing and potential suppliers. Next, crisis management means that in the event of a procurement-related crisis, such as suppliers-related disruption, which is PR, professional must strive to manage the organization's reputation by providing clear, timely, and transparent communication to internal and external stakeholders. The third is stakeholder engagement, which means engaging with stakeholders such as employers, customers, or investors to explain the procurement process and ethical sourcing practices. While supplier announcements are like the PR team often make press releases and communication strategies for announcements related to important questions such as the selection of new suppliers, large-scale contracts, or strategic sourcing initiative. Next, I want to describe about green procurement in the organization. Green procurement is also known as sustainable procurement or environmentally friendly procurement, which is the practice of acquiring goods and services in a way that minimizes environmental impact and promotes sustainability. Implementing green procurement in an organization is a strategic approach to support environmental goals and contribute to corporate social responsibility. Next, there are four fundamental elements to sustainable procurement, which are environmental assessment, social responsibility, fair trade, and indigenous people rights. The first element to sustainable procurement is environmental assessment, which is meaning before a company can obtain any goods or service, it must first carry out an environmental assessment. This is to assess the impact of the purchase on the environment and whether it is in line with the company's sustainability goals or not. Second is social responsibility. This is because the company must also consider social responsibility when making purchases, such as ensuring products are made in a responsible manner, working towards ending poverty, and respecting workers' rights. Next, fair trade. Fair trade is another important element of sustainable procurement. It ensures that companies buy goods from areas where workers are paid fairly for their work. This helps improve worker conditions and protect the environment. And the last one is indigenous people rights. Indigenous people rights means that companies must take into account the rights of indigenous people when making purchases. These rights include things like protecting cultural heritage, access to land, and creating positive relationships with local communities. Next, I will identify the benefits of green procurement. The first benefit is a long-term sustainable strategy can help us make bigger savings and allow you to predict future costs more accurately. For example, take the purchase of IT equipment. This is because we can use short-term cost saving, or we can buy the most efficient option, which is green, and provide long-term savings. Second is green procurement aligns with sustainability principles by prioritizing products and suppliers that use sustainable material processes and practice. This can help ensure a more sustainable future for businesses and communities in that one place. And finally, demonstrate commitment to sustainability through green procurements and enhance reputation within an organization. This can attract environmentally conscious customers, partners, investors, and employers who want to be associated with responsible and ethical business. In addition, I will explain green procurement practices in the company operation. Green procurement practice in company operation involve integrating environmentally responsible and sustainable principles into the organization purchasing process. These practices are intended to minimize the environmental impact of procurement activities, support sustainability goals, and promote ethical and social responsible sourcing. How green procurement can be implemented in a company operation? This is an example of how the company operation implemented this green procurement. The first is green product guidelines. It is an objective to develop a guideline or list of preferred green products for procurement to facilitate decision making and encourage consistent choice across the organization. Next, supplier engagement. Supplier engagement is to encourage open communication with suppliers about green procurement initiatives and can work together in the process of improving environmental performance. The third is policy development. This is something that wants to be developed according to a green procurement policy that outlines the organization's commitment to sustainability, define objectives, and provide guidelines for green purchasing. It must also ensure that the policy is endorsed and supported by top management. The last one is life cycle analysis. Life cycle analysis is something that needs to be carried out to assess the environmental impact of a product throughout its entire life cycle, from production and transportation to use and disposal. We also need to choose products with a lower overall environmental impact. In the next slide, I will respond to the current issues and future issues relating to procurement. The current issues have 5 points, which is the first are supply chain description, second is sustainability and ESG, which is environmental, social and governance, and third, digital transformation, supply chain transparency, and lastly is regulatory compliance, while the future issues have 5 points too, which is circular economy practice, AI and automation, data privacy and security, marketplace consolidation, and lastly climate change and sustainability reporting. The last slide, I would like to talk about my recommendation to improve ethics and social responsibility in the procurement process. In my opinion, a suggestion that can be made to improve ethics and social responsibility in the procurement process is to develop and communicate clear ethical guidelines. This can establish a formal code of ethics and social responsibility specific to procurement. We also need to convey these guidelines to all employees involved in the procurement process so that they get the correct information clearly. Okay, bye. Thank you.